I just want to tell really one quick story.
Sure, please.
So powerful. And it just came to me last year. I had a woman, she's actually a therapist in the South Pasadena area, and she took a class with me 25 years ago. Okay. So it was the beginning of my career. And she was with a group of other therapists, and they did this one day training with me, and they got to work with my associate who's all padded up, and they had that experience. And then a couple of years ago, I get a call from her saying, I have an adult child now. I have other colleagues. I want to get another class together. So I said, sure. So I come and we're checking into this class, and she said, I have to tell you the reason why what prompted me to do this now, 25 years later, is that last year, or it was like 3 or 4 months prior to this class, she said, I was walking out of my office and I was on the phone with my husband, and I didn't notice anybody was around. I kind of looked and didn't see anyone. And then I started walking towards my car. And then before I know it, and I'm on a very wide sidewalk. So in other words, like she said, it's like 12 feet wide. So if someone was going to come around me, they have plenty of room to do so if they're walking faster than me. Well, she doesn't realize until this guy is right behind her. I mean, directly behind her. And she turned around and she put her hands up in the air and she yelled, back off, right? Just like really loud. And he was startled and he backed up, but he kind of gave her this like creepy smile, right? Which is, of course, not the normal reaction that an innocent person would have if you just turned around and yelled at them back off. So she and her husband's freaking out. What's going on? Where are you? What's happening? And she doesn't turn her back on this guy. He starts to walk away. He gets about a half a block away and he turns around, he looks at her and he gives her a very kind of rageful, angry look. Again, confirming this was a predator. And she tells this story. And the reason I think it's so wonderful to tell now is because she said, I didn't even know that was in my body. I didn't remember that I knew that until I turned around and my hands got up in front of my face. She said, he was so close, my hands almost touched his face just by putting them up in front of her. And she said, and I just did it. It just happened. And I didn't have to think about it. And I love that part. And I also love that I want the listeners to hear this part of the story. She didn't have to physically fight him. He was so close, he could have grabbed her, but her voice and her body language and her, that commitment to don't even think about it made her an unlikely target for him now. And he walked away. So I love that story, but particularly from what you're talking about when we talk about the neuroscience of it, like it's there. And then she was like, I want my daughter to have this too.
Oh my gosh, that is the best story. So now you're still doing these classes, right? You're doing this new project.
It's still going. We made it through the pandemic doing some virtual classes, but
okay. So people could contact you through Esteem.
Yes. Esteemcommunication.org is the website. So absolutely check.
And you could arrange a class and
we do private classes where you can get your own group together, or we go through organizations. Any way I can get a group together, we'll make it happen.
Well, I certainly just want to say that I had a client one time that I invited you to come in and to help. So I saw you in action and it was so powerful. And it really did help the client really embody exactly what you're saying. So kudos to you for the work that you've done along those lines, Lauren.
Thank you.
So I'm going to